In today's video, I'm talking about those times when others with less talent wind up ahead of you. How does that happen? They get the promotion, they land the client, and you're left behind. It's got to stop, and you've got to stop it. You've got to understand that talent alone is not enough, and you've got to shift yourself to being outcome-oriented and understand the biggest key that I'll reveal at the end. Let's go. It's time to break barriers and build legacy. Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's Rob, and today I am talking about watching other people who have less talent get ahead and succeed on a higher level than us. And it's frustrating and it sucks, and there's a reason for it. So I want to talk about that with you and help get us to the point where we don't have to deal with that anymore. Now, the first thing to understand is that your talent doesn't mean anything. Talent, I want you to forget about that part of the equation completely. It doesn't matter whether you assess that person's talent level as lower than yours or higher than yours or the same or whatever. What matters is the results that they're getting, and those results are not what you're getting. And that gap there is what we need to talk about, right? It has nothing to do with talent. And that's because talent alone is not enough. Talent is good. It's great to have talent, and I know that you do. Everyone does, and especially when you get into a competitive field in terms of your profession, everyone has talent. And it may be little minuscule differences between talent, and that's not what is making the difference between the performance levels of different people, okay? So talent is just the start. And I'm again reminded of the story I've told before about Kobe Bryant and when he was drafted into the NBA. Instead of going out and celebrating like most guys do, he went to the gym and practiced for 4 hours, all right? Because he understood that talent is just the start. It is not anything to be excited about when you get drafted to the NBA like most guys do. What he saw it as was, well, now I have to go out and perform, and I need to get to that level. I need to show that this is warranted, that I belong here, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to practice, and I'm going to work hard. And so the high performers, as we've talked about before, they work hard and they consistently improve because they all understand that talent isn't enough. The busts in sports, when a guy gets drafted number 1 overall and then his career never really becomes anything, he plays a couple of years and he flames out and he's gone. That's because talent isn't enough, all right? It's just the beginning. I'm reminded of my own story, in fact. When I was a freshman in high school, it was down to the last 2 guys. I was one of them for the freshman high school basketball team, and I was cut. And I had more talent than the guy that they kept, but he worked harder than me. And there were a few guys on the team, because I knew them all, who said that exact thing. Like, he's not as good as you, but he got there because he worked harder than you. And at the time, that was not what I wanted to hear. And at the time, I just kind of got angry over it instead. But that anger eventually turned into me working hard to get back to where I could make the team. And I played my butt off in rec leagues while I was trying to work my way back, and I practiced, and eventually word got around to the high school coaches. In my senior year, I did get another opportunity. And that is what you can do for yourself if you miss out, is to propel yourself forward using that fuel, using that disappointment, that anger as fuel, because again, talent is not enough. The big shift that you need to make, though, and understanding that talent has nothing to do with the equation is kind of step 1. But the big shift that you need to make, and this was a huge game changer for me personally, I had to shift from what I do and get away from that into what value I bring, okay? And there's a subtle difference there, but if you start to focus on the value that you bring and that the things that you can do that are unique to you and the things that only you can provide at your business, for your company, for your employer, within your community, with your customers, if you're an entrepreneur, right, if you're a business owner, you start to shift into what value you bring as opposed to just what you do. That is a total game changer. And I call it becoming outcome oriented, all right? You need to become outcome oriented because outcomes are what matter. Results speak. I say that a lot. You've heard it in some of my other videos. I'm going to say it again here. Results speak. And so the result is the value that you're bringing. You need to focus on that, not what you do, right? Shift your focus into the value that you bring. And this kind of feeds right into the third point that I have, and this is really kind of what everything comes down to, is that everything is relationships, right? And that may not seem fair sometimes, and we may think, oh, the only reason that that guy got that opportunity is because of who he knows, not what he did. Well, it's a combination, all right? Because when you get some relationship started and you don't nurture it in the right way, then that person's not going to think of you when the opportunities come about. How do you get them to think of you? How do you step into being that indispensable person, that go-to person? Well, you provide value, right? When your boss asks you to do something, you do it as quickly as possible and as well as possible so that you can get more, right? Not so that you can just be done with it, but now you go say, hey, I did this, now what? Give me more. Pretty soon you start to stack that up and you become the go-to guy. You become the guy that he looks to or she looks to when it's time to get something done, right? Because they know that you can do it. And that is as much relationship building as anything, okay? Relationships are everything. How others know you, how they think of you, those are huge and important factors in getting the opportunities that will let you succeed at a high level. And that goes for whether you work for someone else or whether you're an entrepreneur. The people that you do business with, you need to be able to serve them at a high level and bring value consistently and shift to that outcome-oriented idea of what can I do for this person? How can I help this person? That is the basis of all your relationships. It needs to be the basis of all your relationships. And if it's not, shift into that because that's what's going to help you more than anything. It's the people that you know that trust you, that entrust you with tasks that need to get done at a high level, right? These are the things, these are the ways that you get ahead, right? And so forming those relationships and developing those relationships and being thought of first, being top of mind, that has everything to do with getting recognized, right? And how do you get people to recognize you? You perform at a high level consistently, and you are outcome oriented, and you focus on the value that you're able to bring, the things that are uniquely you, that only you can provide, your innovations, your creativity, the things they can't get anywhere else. And that is how you become indispensable, and that is how you get the ultimate levels of success that you're looking for. Now, if you are interested in learning a little more about all this or finding out a little bit more about what I'm talking about here, I invite you over to the website, to my resources page. I've got a ton of resources over there for you. Some of my own personal notes from seminars and things that I've done. Some other great things over there that you can go and you can check out. Lots of opportunity. It's over on the website. It's www.yoursoulsource.com/resources. And you can go over there. You can get signed up for the email newsletter. That's a great resource in itself. I send those out once a month. I don't spam you with email, but I do send you interesting and useful things that you may be able to take advantage of, because my whole goal here is to share with you because, again, as I've said before, I believe that what's important is to share our knowledge and collaborate and come together to win together. Right? And I also very strongly believe that excellence is a decision. So make that decision by getting over to the website and signing up for the resources page, and I will see you in the next video.
I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me.